Welcome back to the OK Not OK podcast and the SportsZu, and I have a special one for you today. We are drafting the Taylor Swift for Men all categories draft. That's right, we're both here to make our picks, but just like in our WWE redraft, I will be beating him quite soundly today. Now, of course, we want you to leave your comments, leave some other opinions out there, but most importantly, leave in the comments who won the draft. And of course, you can just write in Dr. OK right now because that will be the right answer. But let's go to the SportsZu for the rules. Come on, Doc. Everyone knows that I destroyed you in that WWE redraft, and I'm going to do so yet again today by again just sitting here on the couch. So since you make me work every single week now on WWE videos, and since I get the hard tasks, I guess I'll go ahead and say the rules. So we will have 4 rounds of 2 picks each, 1 male and 1 female in each of 4 different categories. We will have a singer category, an actor or actress category, an athlete category, and finally a WWE Superstar category to be the Taylor Swift for men. And we are eliminating the actual Taylor Swift and CM Punk from consideration for these lists, though I don't know if we would actually pick CM Punk. So we'll see how it goes. I will pick first for the males in each category, while the doc will pick first for the females in each category. So it will still be a snake draft going male, male, female, female in each category. There's no mixing up the categories. It's not just a free-for-all selection. You have to stick to the category first. So there will be all 4 picks from one category. And then at the end of the category, I will say who the honorable mentions are for my personal picks from each category. So since I have the first pick, we might as well get started. So each category is going to have its own cutoff date for being considered a truly current person qualifying under that category. So singers will be our first category, and to be included there, you have to have either had an album come out or be on a tour in 2023 or 2024. So with that, I will make my first selection for the male singer with Kendrick Lamar. And Kendrick had an album most recently come out in 2022, but his tour for that album, which was the Big Steppers tour, did continue on until 2024, so he has been quite active. So, and on top of that, he's just one of the greatest artists of all time, already having 17 Grammys, an Emmy, 4 AMAs, 29 BET Awards, and 11 VMAs. But for our purposes, to get that men quotient up, he absolutely destroyed that poser Drake in their battle this year. So for that, he certainly deserves to be number 1 on this list. All right, so with that, let's go to Doc for his 2 picks. I don't know a lot about that feud. It sounds like they should take it inside the ring. For my first pick for the men's singer, I will go with Bad Bunny. How could you not go with Bad Bunny? He is a former 24/7 champion. He won his in-ring debut with Damian Priest at WrestleMania 37 and then defeated Priest at Backlash the following year in a Puerto Rican street fight. So if that were all he ever did, that would be enough. But I guess we have to talk about what he's done singing, so I don't know that nearly as well. But he's won 3 Grammys, 6 AMAs, and 2 VMAs, including being Artist of the Year in 2022. That is certainly enough for him to make it here as the Taylor Swift for men in the singer category. But let's go on to the women's side, and our pick will be Beyonce. Yeah, I know, she's probably just about the closest thing that you've got to Taylor Swift out there. She has been the queen bee ever since Destiny's Child way back in 1998, and then going solo herself in 2003 with Dangerously in Love. And ever since then, she's been changing the game and breaking the internet, especially with her last 3 albums of Lemonade, Renaissance, and 2024's Cowboy Carter. who knew that she could do country as well? So Beyonce, you are the queen bee. We bow down to you. Well, Doc, I have to say those were certainly some pretty darn good selections, so no complaining there. So for me, for my women's selection for singer, I will go with Billie Eilish. Yeah, Billie is still just 22 years old, so she has not been around for a while, but when Bad Guy reached #1 on her debut album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? They came out in 2019. We knew we had found a brand new superstar. So she did just have another album come out here in 2024, Hit Me Hard and Soft, which is a pretty crazy name. But it only debuted at #2, but that was not her fault. It was just because, of course, those Swifties went crazy with the Tortured Poets Society. So Billie still is as popular or even more popular than ever. So with her, when we first heard her and continue to hear her, she is just something a little bit different than anyone else out there. So she just has that special something to her that we just want to keep having more of. And she's kind of a little mysterious compared to most of the artists out there, so that just keeps us wanting to go back for more. So Billie, thank you for an incredible start to your career, and we look forward to a lot more to come. Okay, so here are our first honorable mentions. First in the singer category for the men, I'm going with Eminem for his amazing longevity and ability to still pump out the hits here with the latest album, as well as Jelly Roll. And admittedly, I don't know a lot about country music, but he did a great job at SummerSlam, and if you can choke slam Austin Theory, you deserve to be an honorable mention. On the women's side, well, we're going with one of the all-time greats in Shakira. I wish that she had some more English-speaking albums of late, but she still keeps pumping out the hits on the Latin side, and of course, she performed in the Super Bowl. And for me, my choice would be Dua Lipa. I think she is just the greatest pop singer right now, and I know maybe the new album wasn't quite as good as the previous one, but we'll always have future nostalgia. So our second category is our actor category. So the cutoff here for actors is having a TV show or a movie that came out in either 2023 or 2024. It doesn't have to be their best movie or show by any means, but as long as they had something out there in these last 2 years, that will count. So with that, I will take it to the best pick of this entire draft. I think it's the one that's perfect for this group of fans. It is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yep, of course, this is our final boss getting the nod here, but he's more of a people's champion when it comes to movies ever since he debuted in The Mummy Returns and then got his lead acting gig with The Scorpion King. He's really been at the top of all celebrities in the acting biz for quite some time. And of course, not every movie has been a big hit, but he gets points for being both family friendly with hits like Moana. Well, he will be starring in Moana 2 here, coming out soon, as well as a live action Moana. Plus, of course, he is absolutely a huge star in the Fast and Furious franchise. So we look forward to seeing the Great One many more times on the big screen, but admittedly, we want to see him even more inside the squared circle. Wait a minute, SportsZu, that just seems to be cheating. I don't know how you could pick The Rock. He is certainly a wrestler first, and then whatever he's been doing on the side, I don't know. It feels like that just isn't right for us today, but I guess I have to allow it, so let me make my pick. This is a true action hero here. It is Tom Cruise. Ever since his amazing debut in 1983, wow, he's been doing this for a long time with Risky Business, and then following that up, he's made all the right moves since then, and he, of course, continues to pump out the hits with Mission Impossible, and after the last Mission Impossible was a success, we are going to get another one with Dead Reckoning Part 2 next year. So wow, he just keeps going. And of course, that return to Top Gun Maverick last year. Unbelievable stuff. How can you not want to see Tom Cruise anytime he comes out with a new movie? So he's very high on the quotient for the guys, so he is an easy pick for actor. On the women's side, we're going to go to that Marvel Cinematic Universe with Black Widow. It is Natasha Romanoff and Scarlett Johansson. Wow, ever since we saw her way back in 2003 with Lost in Translation, we have been in her spiderweb, and after debuting in Iron Man 2 in the MCU, she finally got her standalone movie in 2021's Black Widow, and we're sad to see her go from the MCU, but hey, it's a multiverse of madness out there. Maybe she can find a way to come back in some variant form. And she just had another movie come out just a few months ago, and even though it may not have been her biggest of all time, if we get a chance to see ScarJo, we would say to fly me to the moon. Well, I can't argue with you going with the original Black Widow, but I will take the next Black Widow with Yelena Belova, aka Florence Pugh. She might not be the most household name out of everyone, but she has it all that certainly appeals to men for sure. Well, you know her best because she was fighting with my family as the amazing Paige back in 2019, and she has really taken off from there. Now granted, what more could she take off from becoming a Divas champion? However, that said, in 2020, she earned an Oscar nomination for Little Women and then became a true star when she starred alongside ScarJo in Black Widow as Yelena. And even more recently, she's been in the biggest movies in the world, including in 2023's Oppenheimer, leaving very little to the imagination, and in 2024's Dune Part 2. So we look forward to seeing her back in the MCU very soon in The Thunderbolts. Our honorable mentions for the actors, first we'll go with Denzel Washington. Truly a man that can do it all on the screen, and he certainly knows how to make a great action movie for men to enjoy. And our other pick, it is Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., truly one of the great actors. He, of course, just won an Oscar for Oppenheimer, but we are excited, well, controversially excited, to see him coming back to the MCU as Doctor Doom. I'd rather have him just be back as Iron Man, but hey, seeing him on the screen is better than nothing. On the women's side, our honorable mentions are first Jennifer Lawrence. Of course, we know her most from Hunger Games, but she's willing to pretty much do anything on the screen, so we look forward to seeing her anytime she wants to come around. And lastly, we will go with Margot Robbie. Yeah, Barbie was a big hit, but maybe that's not our movie of choice. I personally prefer that Harley Quinn role that she's played a couple of times, as well as whatever she did there in The Wolf of Wall Street. Alright, so that leads us to our athlete category, and quite simply all they have to do is be a current athlete playing in the current season. So a little less wiggle room here for athletes, but I don't think that's really a problem. There are a lot of choices out there. But one stands above the rest, so for the male selection, we will go with the king, LeBron James. And what else can you say about LeBron? He just won his third gold medal on Team USA, and he was still an alpha dog on a team of alphas. Just incredible to do at age 39. And of course, he is the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. So ever since he was deemed the king in high school, he has lived up to expectations with 4 NBA championships and NBA championship MVPs, as well as a 20-time All-Star. What else is there to say about the king? He truly is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, of all time. Okay, SportsZu, it really is hard to argue with LeBron James right now, but I am gonna go to football where we have a new GOAT pending. It is Patrick Mahomes. He is already a 3-time Super Bowl champion and 3-time Super Bowl MVP in his first 7 seasons. On top of that, he of course has won 2 regular season NFL MVPs, and he's a 6-time Pro Bowler. Tom Brady better watch his back because the new GOAT is coming through. And of course, if you go see Patrick Mahomes play for the Kansas City Chiefs, you get that added bonus of seeing Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis Kelce. On the women's side, she is the GOAT of gymnastics, and she just won 3 more gold medals and a silver medal at Paris 2024. It is Simone Biles. Yeah, she may have had a little bit of a hiccup in 2020, but she came back strong this year. She is the most decorated gymnast of all times with 11 medals in the Olympics and 30 more of them in World Championships. Truly amazing. It's a shame we only really look at her once every 4 years, but we bow down to her greatness. Well, on the women's side, this one's a little bit tricky, but I am going to surprisingly surpass all of the women that starred on the gold medal winning Team USA and go to the person that was snubbed. It is Caitlin Clark. And it's hard to argue with Caitlin here. She is the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history in basketball between both men and women. She led the Iowa Hawkeyes to 2 championship game appearances, but unfortunately they lost both times. But she has certainly led what has been called the Caitlin Clark effect, leading the women's game to heights unseen before. In fact, this year's NCAA championship game for the women outdrew the men in TV ratings for the first time ever. And that has continued to the WNBA, where their viewership is also soaring. So Caitlin is pretty much taking things to a whole new level, so she's well on her way to winning the Rookie of the Year in the WNBA, and we expect many great things for years to come. So for now, it is hard to argue against her for this particular category. So even though she's a rookie, she is the pick. Our honorable mentions for the athlete side, well, there's a lot of choices here. There are so many sports, but we're limiting it to 2. So first, I'm going with Shohei Ohtani. And while we are sad to see him not pitching this year, his ability to be a 2-way superstar is truly off of the charts. And our second pick, well, he is the GOAT in soccer, and we're so happy to see him in the United States, and that is, of course, Lionel Messi. On the women's side, well, she just continues to reign in the pool, so we just saw her in the Olympics win a few more gold medals. That is Katie Ledecky. And then on the track, even though she didn't win the gold in the 100, just her mere presence out there is overwhelming, and we just have to see her when she's there, which gets her that high quotient for the men. It is Sha'Carri Richardson, but of course she did win that relay race for us with that epic stare down of the person that she was passing to win that gold. Okay, with that, let's go to our final round, which is our WWE Superstars. So of course, again, CM Punk is ineligible for this list, but I'm not going to pick him anyways. So the cutoff date here is you had to perform at WrestleMania 39 or more recently than that to be eligible. But of course, we are going with the OTC Roman Reigns. And I know Doc would certainly not be taking him here, but there's just no other answer than Roman Reigns. When you see Roman Reigns on your screen, things are just on a whole another level. So what can we say? He had a reign of 1,316 days. He's a 6-time world champion. He is a Grand Slam champion. And it's just different when it's Roman Reigns. He has become the best that there is in this business. And even though he lost to Cody Rhodes, I am sure once he handles the new bloodline, he will be right back to regaining the undisputed WWE Championship. So we look forward to whatever we can get out of Roman Reigns. Yes, we would like him to wrestle more, but that's just because he is the greatest in the business right now. So Roman, please stick around for much longer, despite whatever Doc is trying to say on a daily basis. Well, great. Thanks for that pick, SportsZu. You just handed me a victory in this entire draft. I might as well stop here because selecting Roman Reigns is the worst possible pick you could make. We don't even want to see him on the screen anymore. So get him out of here. I'm glad I've got the GOAT coming to my team. It is, of course, John Cena. Now, we've been amazed by John Cena ever since he was the Doctor of Thugonomics, or as I like to say, Dr. O'Thug, but you know, that's just me. I think the rest of us loved him from that moment, and he did nothing to disappoint since then, leading the WWE all the way to 16 World Championships. And maybe he's been on a little bit of a cold streak recently, but we know that he will get that 17th championship somehow next year in the Last Time Is Now tour, when we will see him right off into the sunset at some point in 2025. So John, thank you for everything that you've done. You truly are the greatest, and we look forward to seeing this final run. And for my last pick on the women's side, well, this is the Taylor Swift for men, so I will go with the man, Becky Lynch. How could you not pick Becky with this pick? She is a 7-time women's champion and a Grand Slam champion, adding that NXT championship, a tag team championship, and also won a Royal Rumble. And of course, she was the winner to become Becky Two Belts in that first ever women's main event of WrestleMania. So what else could you say? Anytime that the man comes around, you know that you are in for the big time. Well, just like your pick there with the man, my pick is also a Grand Slam champion on the women's side, and that is our mommy, Rhea Ripley. Yes, she is a 2-time world champion, as well as tag champ, NXT champ, and also a Royal Rumble winner. What can we say about mommy? When she's on your screen, things are just different. She just really has everything that men could want in that amazing power that she has, as well as, of course, that charisma and good looks that you can't beat in your WWE Superstars. So we all wish we could be licked like Dom was a few weeks ago on Raw, but we certainly would not want to be Dom anymore, as mommy will certainly be hitting that riptide before long. And our honorable mentions for WWE, well, number 1 is the Beast, Brock Lesnar. We certainly hope to see him back, but anytime he is a special attraction, we know it is certainly going to be a big event. But if he never comes back, it was truly an amazing run. And I guess we will go with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, right now. Yeah, he's just great for everybody. But what can you say? He defeated Reigns at WrestleMania 40. He's been on quite a roll. We were very excited to see him come over from that other promotion. So having him back, of course, is a treat. And he shows up every week for us, so we won't complain about that. On the women's side, we'll first go with the true legend, Trish Stratus. She still delivers that Stratus faction after all these years with that amazing rivalry with the man Becky Lynch last year. So all we can say is thank you, Trish. And lastly, it's a tougher pick here, but we're going to go with Jade Cargill just for more of the anticipation of what we're waiting to see out of her here in the near future. She, of course, has gotten off to a good start as being a tag team champion with Bianca, but when she turns to face Bianca, I think everything will just get blown away into a whole new atmosphere, and she will be that megastar that we know she is. All right, thanks, SportsZu. I will thank you for showing up so much on the Dr. OK feed here recently. But, of course, nonetheless, you handed me the championship here for this draft with your Roman Reigns selection, even though your other picks were, all in all, not so bad, but just not as good as mine. Anyways, again, comment on the picks here and let us know who won. For the SportsZu, I am Dr. OK, and this has been the OK Not OK podcast.